So I've never really been very good at public speaking. Like, even doing this now, I get really nervous because I know that people are going to see it. Like, it took me about a good 10 minutes to turn on the camera because I was just sitting here trying to figure out what I was going to do. Like, I know what I want to talk about, I know what I want to say, but because I know people are going to see it, it makes me really nervous. Anyone who knows me knows that I like to talk a lot. Like, it's hard to get me to shut up or get a word in edgewise, but if I have to like present something, I freeze up, I get all shaky. I actually I had a really bad problem with that one year in high school because for Spanish class, it was our second year and we were supposed to show how much we knew at the beginning by recording ourselves talking about a subject like what did you have for dinner the night before, what's a hobby that you have or something you enjoy doing with your family. And we all had our little tape recorders and I would go out into the middle of like nowhere in our backyard where I knew no one would be able to hear me. But because I knew that I was going to have to show it to my teacher, like I would stumble over my words and I couldn't get anything out and nothing made sense. And when I turned it in, the final product was just me mumbling and speaking really fast and not making any sense. And she was like, Sean, you need to work on this. You need to, speak more clearly and all that. I couldn't do it. And that ended up being the only time I turned that in, so my grade was not good in that class. So one of my biggest problems is I can't commit to anything. It's really sad. I go through these periods of total obsession and then it just sort of dwindles off to complete disinterest. Like I'll get these ideas and I'm so excited about it and I can't wait to start and I get going and I do all this research and whatever goes into this particular interest, and then after a few weeks or months, like my interest will dwindle and I just don't care anymore and I move on to something else. It's kind of like a virus that I just go through these things until I exhausted them and then move on to something else when there's nothing left for me to take from it. Another thing was we had to present our films. I think my sophomore year, and there were a bunch of films chosen from different different classes that people had voted on and liked the best. And the one that I wrote was chosen to be spoken about. So there were a couple of teachers there that were supposed to uh, critique it, just to get us used to having somebody give us feedback on our work. And I had no idea that mine was picked to be discussed. So they had us come up and say a little something about our work. And I remember that Walter Metz was the one who was critiquing my piece, and I got up and I was so nervous and I had no idea what to say. And I remember him saying to me, among other things, was that if you're shy, this isn't the business you should get into. And that really kind of hit me because it's true. Like if you can't handle people's feedback and if you can't get up and verbalize your ideas, you're not going to get very far, which is something I still struggle with quite a bit. So, but just do you ever have those moments that really stand out in your memory? Not like, do you ever have those moments that are so? So do you guys ever have those moments that like really stick out in your memory? Not because they're particularly important, but just
Sometimes I wonder how much of what I do is my own idea and how much is like influenced by what other people tell me. Like for instance, the reason I got into film, at least the reason that I like to tell everyone, is that I used to watch behind the scenes features on my DVDs like Lord of the Rings and Pirates of the Caribbean, and I would get like really excited about. I would get really excited about like how the cast was working together and the way that they had all the shots set up and how the lights worked and I just had a lot of really strong feelings about watching people work together and create something really beautiful and entertaining. And that's mostly true. Like I do still get this like achy feeling in my chest when I watch behind the scenes features and like gag reels and that kind of thing. But But yeah, I would get like really into watching those, and every time I'm like, oh, I want to do that. I want to act. I want to make movies. I want to do all that stuff, right? But another reason I remember that I started. But yeah, no, the main reason that I got into film was because watching people work together to create these things, like to have ideas and then make that reality, that really appealed to me. I'm always having all these ideas that I would love to see manifest themselves in some way. And film was the ideal way to do that while working with a lot of people and getting to travel, which is perfect for me. But I also remember something else that really influenced me was when I was in high school, there was this guy that I really liked, and he was always making these little videos for YouTube and asking people to come and help him film, and I was like, if I start working on videos, maybe I can get closer to him and he'll realize that I'm a really fun person and he'll ask me out or something like that. So I have to wonder how much of me getting into this film program is because I genuinely enjoy making movies, or because at one point I wanted to impress a boy and then that just sort of rode over subconsciously. But yeah, I never ended up dating that guy.